there's no way to do this and manage HIPAA. So if you have any injuries, illnesses, or pregnancies that you are managing right now, please listen to your body. In this flow, everything should be safe if you are pregnant. If your low back is hurting you, please be very mindful when we roll up into Tadasana, what that low back is feeling like. We never want that low back to be crunchy. Other than that, listen to your body. So for today's practice, we are going to need a block or a block substitute of some sort, something that's going to lift the floor up to you. And we are going to need a strap or a strap substitute of something, something that will help you touch your toes. So if you don't have a strap at home, maybe a belt or a scarf or a towel or something lovely like that. Maybe take a minute, get a drink of water, put on any music that is calming to you today. So I know I have several yoga teachers joining me. I have one of my mentors joining me, which is, oh, such a big thing. And some of you have been in class with me in studio and some of you haven't. So I teach very differently than most. I have some folks on here who are going to be practicing this flow in a chair and never coming out of their chair. I have a few folks on here who will warm up and cool down in their chair and then practice the majority of the flow standing with us. I have some on here that will need props to lift the floor up to them. And then I have some Bimby Gumbies that can like put their nose on the ground with no problem. So because I do my best to accommodate everybody, I teach in levels. And all that means to you is check your ego at the door and listen to whatever level calls to you right now. We're gonna slow this down, get super regulated. I'm not sure you can hear me.
Can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I didn't plug in the microphone. I don't know if you can hear me. All right. I get super regulated. So if you're sitting in a chair, go ahead and scoop back in the chair, plant the feet firmly on the ground. If you're seated on the floor, go ahead and come into Sukhasana and start to rock side to side, feeling those sit bones connect to the earth beneath you. Coming into just a little bit of stillness here. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears, waterfall the shoulder blades down the back. And start to imagine there's a string on the top of your head pulling you just a little bit taller. If you're feeling like you'd like more grounding energy today, being a little bit more present in the body, maybe those palms are going to face down. If you're feeling more open and receptive, maybe those palms will face up. Closing the eyes if that feels safe, and if that doesn't feel safe, lowering the gaze down to the ground. Hanging out here for some deep breaths, just start to notice. Notice where the breath wants to go. Notice where the breath doesn't want to go. Maybe you leave the palms just like they are, or maybe you're seeking a little additional grounding today. If that's you, join me in flipping those palms over so they face the ceiling. Bring that thumb mindfully into the palm of the hand. And very slowly wrap each finger around the thumb, starting with the pinky finger. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. And a full exhale out through the mouth. Start to squeeze the thumb as hard as you can for 5 deep belly breaths. I found this quote yesterday while I was reading, and it's by Jack Kornfield, and it says, "Let go of the battle. Breathe quietly and let it be. Let your body relax and your heart soften. Open to whatever you experience without fighting. My question for you today in this flow is, where can you find a little softening? At the end of your last breath, start to relax the fingers one by one, mindfully unwinding. Releasing the thumb, shaking out any tension. Bring the hands back to the thighs, breathing in here. Bringing those hands to the heart space, press the thumbs into the sternum. Take just a moment to to say a sankalpa, an intention. This is your practice, make it personal. Exhale, release the hands to the knees and flutter the eyes open. Drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to opposite shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Continue with this. Let your breath start to carry you. When the ear finds one shoulder, go ahead and leave it there. Bring that same arm up and over, adding just a little bit of pressure. And walk the opposite hand away from the body, lengthening the scalings, those neck muscles. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up, switching sides, bring the thumb up toward, I lied, holy crap. Bring the ear to the opposite. Words are really hard today and I don't know why, it's been like this all day. Bring that ear to the opposite shoulder, bring that same arm up and over and walk the opposite hand away from the body. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up. Now we're gonna lift that thumb up towards the ceiling. Bring it right between the shoulder blades, any way that it gets there. And then drop that ear to the opposite shoulder, lengthening those scalings. Deep breaths. Inhale, lift up, switching sides. Bring the thumb up towards the ceiling. Bring it right between the shoulder blades, any way that it gets there. Drop the ear to the opposite shoulder. Inhale, lift up, come back to center. We're gonna bring the chin over to the shoulder and then lift the chin up towards the ceiling for a move I've nicknamed the Snooty Yogi. Coming back to center, switching sides, drawing the chin to the opposite shoulder, lifting the chin up towards the ceiling, Snooty Yogi, opposite side.
How many people?
I don't know.
Inhale, come back to center. We're going to interlace the fingers. Bring the fingers behind the occipital. With those elbows out nice and wide, you're going to push the skull into the hands as you push the hands into the skull for 5 deep breaths. We're going to keep the hands right where they are. Round the back, look down at the navel, and add just a little bit of pressure. Finding that stretch from the tops of the shoulders into the back of the neck, and even down into the low back. Deep belly breaths here. Inhale, lift up. We're going to take these same interlaced fingers, bring them to the forehead, elbows out wide. Push the forehead into the hands as you push the hands into the forehead. Create that resistance for 5 deep breaths. When I reached out yesterday, overwhelmingly everybody said neck and shoulders and disconnectedness. This is a really simple way to start to relieve some of the tension that we carry in those necks and shoulders. Exhale, release. Taking these interlaced fingers, push the palms out at shoulder height. Round the back and look down at the navel. Find that stretch in through the wings. Breathe in here. Inhale, lift up, bring the palms up towards the ceiling, keeping both sit bones glued to the chair or the earth beneath you. We're going to lean to the side. Take your wing, push it up towards the ceiling. Find that length in the side body. Take some really deep breaths here. How does it feel to breathe? Inhale, come back to center. Switching sides, leaning to the opposite side. Push that wing up towards the ceiling. Breathe in here. Inhale, come back to center. Release the hands down to the knees and roll off the shoulders. Crossing the arm across the midline, find the opposite knee. Do your best beauty queen pose, which is exactly how the ancient yogis cued this. Draw the shoulder down towards the knee as that elbow comes up towards the ceiling. Beauty queen pose. So a lot of us are finding ourselves in this low state or sometimes active state or fight or flight. And most of my training has taught me that fight or flight comes from the limbic system. Inhale, lift up, switching sides, reach for the opposite knee, do your best beauty queen pose. Draw the shoulder down towards the knee as that elbow comes up towards the ceiling. And so today, during this flow, we're gonna cross our midline quite a bit today, trying to balance both hemispheres of the brain and soothe that limbic system so that we can stop living in this heightened state of fight or flight and come back into a more sustained, calm reality. Inhale, lift up. It doesn't mean that reality is great. It just means we're not adding that level of panic to it. From here, some of us are going to stay seated in our chairs. Some of us are going to roll over our shins and come into tabletop. So in tabletop, the knees are roughly hips distance apart. That's roughly 2 fists put between the knees. The joints are stacked. So the wrists are under the elbows and the elbows are underneath the shoulders. From tabletop, we're gonna round the back, look down at the abdomen for cat. Sink the belly, tip the head up, cow. A few more, let your breath start to carry you here. Getting full articulation in that spine. Maybe closing the eyes for more quiet, internal, reflective practice. And then coming into cat, holding cat for 3 deep breaths. And sink the belly, tip the head up, cow, 3 deep breaths. Coming back to a neutral spine. We're going to draw the shoulder back towards the hip and look back for a tail. Let me know if you find one. Coming back to center, switching sides, drawing the shoulder back towards the hip, looking back for a tail. Coming back to center. If you are in a chair, you're going to extend one leg out in front of you, rest the heel on the ground, flex the foot, drawing the toes a little closer to the face, pull the hip back, pull the leg back up into the hip, hinge at the hips, fold forward. If you are on tabletop on the floor with me, you're going to extend one leg back behind you, rest the ball of the foot onto the ground, sink the weight into the heel and activate that calf stretch. Taking some deep breaths here, noticing how the calf is feeling. Some of us are going to stay here. Some of us are going to lift that back extended leg, push back through the heels, make sure those toes are facing down. Maybe take your opposite hand and check to make sure those hips are flat like we think they are. Sometimes we like to lift that back leg because it feels like we're getting deeper in the pose, but really the true challenge is to keep those hips flat. If this feels good, maybe bring that opposite arm forward so that thumb faces up, bird dog, breathe in here. If you're seated in a chair, maybe tip the big toe in towards the midline and fold a little deeper. If you're hanging out on the floor, maybe you hang out here in bird dog, or maybe you bend that back foot, bend that back knee, reach back for the foot, and float the foot into the hand. Just options, loves, just options.
No.
Exhale, release. We're gonna switch sides. Extend the opposite leg back behind you. If you're seated in a chair, extend it in front. Sink the weight into the heels. Activate the calves. Breathe, 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 guys. If you're not breathing, you're not doing yoga. But hey, there's no accident reports to fill out. This is cool. From here, maybe you hang out here. Maybe you lift that back leg, push back through the heel. Make sure those toes face down. Take your opposite hand, check to make sure those hips are flat like you think they are. Maybe you hang out here, or maybe you inhale that opposite arm forward, bird dog. Push through the fingers, push through the heel, lengthen, lengthen. Maybe you hang out here, or maybe you bend that back knee, reach back for the foot and float the foot into the hand. If you're hanging out in a chair, bring that toe in towards the middle and fold a little deeper. Oh, yes. Exhale, release. If you're on the floor with me, bring the legs together. Walk the hips back to meet the heels, hero's pose. So I am going to introduce to you eagle arms. We are going to play with a variety of different eagle arms throughout this flow. So the first stop on this bus stop pose is to open those arms out wide like a T. Give yourself a great big bear hug. Walk those fingertips back onto the shoulder blades and see if you can stack the elbows. If you can, cool. If you can't, cool. And give yourself a great big squeeze because my goodness, we all need all the hugs we can get right now. Lift up through the elbows. Notice how this feels. Open the arms out wide, like reverse the cross here. Whatever arm was on top is now on bottom. Whatever arm was on bottom is now on top. Give yourself a great big bear hug. Lift up through the elbows. Notice. So that's our first option. If you're like, Beck, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy, maybe open the arms out wide like a T. Bring the arms in front, cross with the elbows. This is super important. We want the elbows to cross. If the elbows aren't crossing with ease, no worries. Come back into bear hug. If the elbows cross with ease, bend at the elbows and bring the back of the hands together. Lift up through the elbows. Exhale, release. We're gonna open the arms up wide like a T. Same thing, opposite side, reverse the cross, stack the elbows. Bend, bring the back and the hands together. Lift up. Exhale, release. Some of us are going to stay at bear hug. Some of us are going to stay at the second option. Maybe you're like, Beck, what else you got? I can take you just a little bit deeper. If you're ready to go just a little deeper today, open those arms out wide like a T. Bring the arms in front, cross with the elbows. Bend the elbows, bring the back of the hands together. Flip the palms so the palms touch, and then lift up. Notice how this feels. And playing with this on the opposite side, open up wide like a T. Reverse the cross, stack the elbows, bend, bring the back of the hands together, bring the palms together, lift up.
So we're back to.
Exhale, release, rolling out the shoulders. So 3 different variations. Pick the one that calls to you. If we're on the floor, you're going to turn the toes under, roll back, stand up. If you're in a chair, go ahead and stand up. Bring the chair up front. You'll want the seat of the chair facing you. You may or may not want your block. Your block has 3 levels: baby bear, mama bear, papa bear. Pick the level that calls to you. The point of the block is to lift the floor up to you, because often when we go into a forward fold, that floor gets really, really, really far away. So take a moment, arrange your props as necessary. We're gonna bring the feet hips distance apart, roughly. That is roughly 2 fists put together between the big toe joint. I'm not super concerned about exactly how your feet are positioned here. Mostly, I just like them apart and for you to find some stability here. We're gonna lift up all those beautiful yogi toes and start to put them down one by one, starting with that pinky toe. All the way to the big toe. Add some weight into the heel, into the big toe joint, and along the pinky edge of the foot. Take a moment here, close the eyes if that feels safe. If that doesn't feel safe, just lower the gaze. Start to rock the body weight from the balls of the feet to the heels, stopping when you find your perfect center here. Really play with it. Find your strength. Find your foundation. 5 deep breaths here. Maybe start to gently turn up the corners of the mouth. And breathe. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. Gather up all the goodness the world has to offer you today. Bring those hands down to heart center. Press the thumbs into the sternum and pause here. Seal in that goodness. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, forward fold. Hands come down to the chair, the block, or to the floor. Let that head get super heavy here. Putting a small bend in the knees. You bend the elbows and hang on to opposite elbows. And start to sway gently from side to side and ragdoll. Visualizing any tension, any stress, any ick, just flowing out of the crown of the head. Just let it go. Exhale, forward fold. Release the hands down to the chair, the block, or to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the thighs, the block, or the floor. Shift the weight back into the heels. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Create that space. Hello, hamstrings. We have missed you. Exhale, forward fold. You're going to plant one hand directly underneath your shoulder. Maybe that's on the chair, maybe it's on the block, maybe it's on the floor. Bend the same knee as the hand you just planted. And then float your opposite arm up towards the sky. Breathe in here. Exhale, lower the hand back down towards the mat. Keep the bend in the knee. Whatever knee has the bend in it, walk both hands over to that ankle, shin, or foot. Say hello to your straight hamstrings. Breathe in here. Exhale, release, walking the hands back to center. We're going to switch sides. Put a bend in the opposite knee, straighten the knee that was bent. Plant that same hand directly underneath your shoulder on the chair, the block, or the floor. Float the opposite arm up towards the sky. Breathe in here. Exhale, release that elevated hand down to the ground. Keep the bend in your knee. Walk both hands over to the bent leg, whether that's the ankle, the shin, the side of the foot, whatever you can hold on to here. Saying hello to your opposite hamstrings. Exhale, walk back to center. Bending one knee and then the other. Notice how the hamstrings are feeling. Notice how the back's feeling. Notice how you're feeling. We're going to put a soft bend in both knees and really root down the feet. Ground down those heels, ground down the balls of the feet. Inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead, upward salute. Gather all the tranquility and peace the world has to offer you today. And seal it in the heart center. Pause here. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, shift the weight back into the heels. Let the breath do the work here. Exhale, forward fold. Put a bend in the knees, root down those feet. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead, gather all that love. And seal it in. Releasing the hands down by the side. You're going to cross one leg over the, from Tadasana. You're going to take one leg and cross at the ankles. Extend both legs out in front. Whatever leg you crossed over, that's the arm that's going to be on top. Yes? From here, flip the palms so the palms are touching and interlace the fingers. Hello, cross midline action. Bring the arms up overhead. Nice. Take a deep breath in here. Get as big as you possibly can. Extend, extend, extend. Bring those hands into the heart. Hinge at the hips. Exhale, fold forward. Ooh, I know. Inhale, lift up, get super, 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 super big. Two more just like that. Bring those hands into the heart, hinge at the hips, fold forward, regulating that brain, using the breath. Letting the breath do the heavy lifting today. Inhale, lift up, get super tall. Last one on this side, bring it in. And hinge. Everybody look down at their feet for just a second and remember which foot is in front. Inhale, lift up. Release the hands. Roll out the shoulders. Uncross the legs, shake it out. We're going to switch sides. Reverse the cross the legs, so whatever leg was in back is now in front. Extend both arms out in front. Whatever leg is in front, that arm is on top. Flip so the palms touch and interlace the fingers. Bring the arms up overhead. Fold the hands into the heart space, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, lift up, get super tall, create all that space. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Last one here. Inhale, lift up, get super tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, lift up, release the arms. Uncross the legs, meeting in Tadasana at the top of the mat. From Tadasana, inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. Gather up all the grace that the world has for you today. Really seal that grace into the heart space center. Press those thumbs into the sternum. Bend the knees, sink the hips down. Keep that heart space up. Chair pose. Deep breath in here. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands down onto the chair, the block, or the floor. Release all the tension out of the head. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Root down the feet, put a small bend in the knees. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. What do you need more of? Ask for it, gather it, feel it. Seal it in. Sinking down, chair pose. Keep those heart spaces up, doing that Care Bear stare. But wait, guys, there's more. Open the arms out wide like a T and come into your version of eagle arms here. Push up through the fingertips. Oh, it is a good day to be in yoga. Notice what hands on top, starting to fire up those quads. Open the arms out wide like a T again. Reverse the cross the arms, eagle arms, opposite side. Keep those booties low. Lift the fingertips up. Exhale, release the hands, bring the hands down to the ground, forward fold. One more, just like that. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, shift the weight back into the heels. Lift those toes, feel that length here. Exhale, forward fold, let it all go. Anchoring down the feet, really push down, lift up, upward salute. What do you need more of? Gather it. Seal it in, claim it as done. Bend the knees, sink the hips, chair pose. From chair pose, come into your version of eagle arms. Lift up, you got this. Notice that space between your shoulder blades. Can you soften at all here? Can you start to breathe in a little deeper? Opening the arms out wide like a T, reverse the cross of the arms. Lift up. Anybody sending Chair some love this morning? Exhale forward, fold, plant the hands onto the ground. Release all the tension out of the neck. Putting a soft bend in the knees, bend the arms at the and hang on to opposite elbows, starting to sway side to side and ragdoll. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground, put a great big bend in the knees and roll it vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last to rise. From Tadasana, you're going to take your favorite foot and step back with it. Parallel that foot to the back of the mat. Everybody meeting in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. If you're using a chair, that chair is going to come on the pinky edge of that front foot for support. Deep breath here. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Push the knuckles below the glutes. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. Humble warrior. Rooting down that front heel. Inhale, lift up. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, we're going to flip the palms, straighten the front leg. What do you need more of in your life right now? More calm, more peace, less bullshit, whatever that is for you. I want you to name it, claim it, gather it. Seal it in. Open up, Virabhadrasana 2. 2 more receptive warriors just like that. Flip the palms, straighten the front leg, gather exactly what you need more of. This is your practice. Seal it in. Last one here. Flip, lift, gather, seal. Pause here, claim it as so, claim it as done. Putting a big bend in that front knee. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, bring the hands to the hips and parallel the feet. Wide angle. Opening those arms out wide like a T. Come into your version of eagle arms here. Lift up through the elbows. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. Shift the weight back into the heels. Lift the toes with ease here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Pulling your belly button back towards the spine. Inhale, lift up, flat back. Opening the arms out wide like a T. Reverse the cross, coming into eagle arms, opposite side. Push up through the fingertips. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. Wide angle, forward fold with eagle arms. Pulling the navel back towards the spine. Inhale, lift up. Release the arms, rolling out the shoulder. You're gonna pivot on the heel and open up into Virabhadrasana 2, facing the back of your mat. Warrior 2, back of the mat. Beautiful. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Push the knuckles below the glutes. Hinge at the hips, fold forward, humble warrior. Inhale, lift up, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, same thing we did on the opposite side. Flip the palms, straighten the front leg. Gather up exactly what you need today. And seal it in. Virabhadrasana 2. 2 more, just like that. Flip the palms. Name it, claim it, gather it. Seal it in. Last one here. Flip the palms. Flip. And seal. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, bring the hands to the hips and parallel the feet. We're going to bring the heels in and the toes face out. Bend the knees, sink the sit bones straight down, goddess pose. But this isn't just any goddess pose. From goddess, we're going to open the arms out wide like a T and come into your version of eagle arms. Lift up through those elbows and say hello to your hips. Isn't it a great day to be in yoga? Open the arms out wide like a T. Reverse the cross of the arms. Lift up. Open up wide like a T. Release the hands down to the knees. Fingertips face the floor. Sink the booties down just a little deeper. Yeah. You're going to push the knee away from you as you draw the shoulder to the opposite knee. Find that low back stretch. Coming back to center, switching sides. Coming back to center, inhale, lift up, heel toe those feet back together, shake it out. Paisley, you dying on me, my friend?
Yeah, I did a bunch of squats the last couple of days.
If you are in a chair, you are going to pretend to have a seat, hover the booty right on top of the chair and hang out there as long as you possibly can. If you are on the floor, remember you're always welcome to just have a seat and bypass this. Otherwise, for some fun, we're going to glue the legs together, come up onto the balls of the feet. Bring those hands into the heart space, press those thumbs into the sternum, feel that connection. Start to bend the knees, sink the hips down towards the heels, toe balancing pose. Keep those heart spaces up, do that Care Bear stare. Taking some deep breaths here. When this is no longer fun, go ahead and have a seat. We're going to extend both legs out in front, flexing the feet. If you're seated in a chair, same thing, extend both legs out in front, toes come back towards the face. Maybe pull the flesh away from the sit bones, maybe not. Lift up super tall. Hinge at the hips, fold forward, Paschimottanasana. Remember, yoga has nothing to do with touching your toes. So let those hands go wherever they go. Maybe they land on your knees, maybe they land on your shins, maybe they land on your feet. No judgments, just noticing. Now, if your hands do touch your toes with ease, maybe you choose to take your 2 peace fingers, hang on to the big toes, hug the elbows in because there's no chicken wings in yoga, and pull the belly a little closer to the thighs for an activated Paschimottanasana. Inhale, lift up. If you're in a chair, go ahead and bend the knees and plant the soles of both feet onto the ground. From here, everybody's going to open up those arms wide, taking your very last version of eagle arms for this class, whatever that looks like for you. Lift up through the elbows, create the space in the spine, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Hello, hamstrings. Hello, back. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Inhale, lift up, opening the arms out wide like a T, reversing the cross of the arms, lifting up, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Paschimottanasana with eagle arms. Inhale, lift up, rolling up the shoulders. We're gonna grab our strap or a strap substitute. If you're seated in a chair, just hang out in the chair. If you're on the floor, bend both knees, plant the soles of the feet onto the ground. We're gonna start to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, coming down onto the back. Grabbing the strap, we're running the strap under the arch of one foot. Lift that foot up towards the ceiling or extend that leg out in front if you're seated in a chair. Your supporting foot, that leg can be bent or straight, whichever is best for your body. You know your body better than I. Hanging on to the strap with the same hand as the extended leg. Open the leg out to the side. Push through the heel. Draw those toes back towards the face. Breathe in here. Bring the foot back to center. Transfer the strap into the opposite hand. Pull the toes back towards the face and cross the foot across the midline by T-band stretch. Now, push through the heel and drop that big toe down towards the floor just a little bit more for a micro adjustment. See if you can really find that IT band. And take some deep breaths here. If you find that your IT band has stopped guarding, maybe see if you can fold a little deeper here. Bring that foot back to the center. We're going to switch sides. Bring the strap under the arch of the opposite foot. Lift that foot up. Extend the other leg down the mat. Your supporting leg can be bent or straight. Depends on what's right for your body. Finding those hamstrings. Hang on to the strap with the same hand as the extended leg. Open the leg out to the side, getting into that hip. And inhale the foot back to center. Transfer the strap into the opposite hand. Pull the toes back towards the face and cross the foot across the midline. IT band stretch. Push through the heel and drop that big toe down just a little bit. Breathe in here. If the IT bands have stopped guarding, see if you can pull just a little bit deeper. Inhale the foot back to center, release the strap. If you're seated in a chair, bring the ankle of one leg to the opposite thigh. If you're on the floor, you're gonna bend both knees, plant the soles of the feet onto the ground. Take one ankle and rest it on the opposite thigh, flexing the foot and energetically pushing the knee away from the body. If you're seated in a chair, lift up nice and tall. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. On the floor, pull the belly button back towards the spine, lift the legs up, Wrap the strap or the arms around the bottom thigh and hug the ankle a little closer to the chest. Breathing in here. Hello, hips and low back. Really anchor down the hips, anchor down the shoulder blades, create the space in the back. Find that length. Deep breaths. Exhale, release the foot back down to the ground. We're going to switch sides. Bringing the ankle to the opposite thigh, flex the foot to protect the knee. Energetically drive the knee away from the body. If you're seated in a chair, lift up tall, hinge at the hips, fold forward. If you're on the floor, pull the belly button back towards the spine. Inhale, lift up and wrap the strap or the arms around that bottom thigh, hugging the ankle closer to the chest. Exhale, release the feet down to the ground. You plant the soles of both feet onto the floor. If you're seated in a chair, you're going to sit sideways, lift up tall through the spine, and twist, bringing the heart space towards the back of the chair. Use both hands to hang onto the back of the chair. If you're on the floor, open the arms out wide like a T. Inhale the knees up to the chest. Exhale, twist, drop those knees all the way down to the floor, nice and high, like clear up by your belly button, nice and high. And then take that front hand, add a little weight to your top knee, and let that back shoulder melt into the earth. Release any tension that you're finding in that low back and really take some deep breaths here. Just let it go. If you're in a chair, see if you can fold if you can twist just a little deeper. Exhale. We're going to inhale, bring those knees back to center. Exhale, twist opposite side. Drop those knees nice and high, right about belly button height. Take that front hand, add a little weight to the top knee, and let the back shoulder melt into the earth. If you're seated in a chair, you're going to come to the opposite side, so turning sideways, lifting up nice and tall and twisting the chest so it's facing the back of the chair. Inhale, come back. We're gonna reach down for the pinky. Draw the knees down into the armpits, soles of the feet face the ceiling. Really root down the hips and the shoulders. Happy baby. If you're seated in a chair, scoot all the way back into the chair. Starting to take some deep belly breaths. From happy baby, maybe start to rock side to side. Maybe straighten one leg and then the other. Taking any movement that the body might still be asking for. And then when you're ready, start to straighten the legs. Bring the heels out as wide as the mat. Walk the shoulder blades down the back, palms facing up. Final resting pose, Savasana. Taking some deep breaths here. If it feels safe, Close the eyes. If it doesn't feel safe, just lower the gaze. Starting to notice where the heels connect to the earth beneath you. Notice where the sidewalks are connecting. The glutes. The shoulder blades. The back of the head. Back of the head. Entire body fully supported, safe, held, connected. Just you and your breath. Noticing that heart space, the place where we receive love at. Softening every breath. Yesterday, as I was lost in a book, I found this beautiful quote by C. Joy Bell. And I found it quite profound, especially for these stressful times. So I wanted to share it with you now while we're all just resting in Savasana. It says, "It's the hard things that break. Soft things don't break." It was an epiphany I had today. I just wondered why it took me so very, very, very long to see it. You can waste so many years of your life trying to become something hard in order to not break. But it's the soft things that can't break. The hard things, they are the ones that shatter into a million pieces. Finding softness today. Slowly start to deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring the arms up and over the head for a full body stretch, taking up as much room as you possibly can from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Rolling over onto one side, curling up there. Bringing to mind one thing that you love about yourself. One thing that you're grateful for right now. And offering yourself just a moment of gratitude for taking time to practice and for showing up for yourselves today. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, use your arms to push yourself up to a seated position with hands at heart center. I am so very, very grateful for the opportunity to practice with each and every one of you. I sincerely hope you leave here feeling just a skosh better than when you started. The light in me so very much values the light in you. Namaste. We did it! So a couple of things. So as we all know, life got kind of crazy, and I'm now on like plan D for the studio because I really don't know when I can open legally again. I have no idea when that's going to be. Probably months at this point. Because of that, I have moved on to Patreon. We have over 55 videos on Patreon. There's a little confusion, but that's because there are multiple tiers. Every tier is the exact same thing. They're just different price points because I serve so many people that I wanted to make sure that everybody I serve had a price point that they could participate at. So you can get an entire month of Patreon for the same price as one class in studio, which is $13. Besides that, I have launched a bunch of virtual workshops that people have been asking me to teach for a long time, and I just haven't had the time. So this Friday, we're going to do exploring colors and shielding. So it's an energy medicine workshop. Thursday the 23rd, we're doing finding balance with Ayurvedic practices. It's a intro basic 101 class to Ayurvedic medicine and some of the just routines and rituals that we can start to bring into our lives and find a little bit more balance. We're going to look at our doshas and different things we can do to balance those. And then Sunday the 26th, we're going to do exploring the chakras. Now, the one thing that we need to know about that is it is an hour and a half to almost 2-hour workshop. For every chakra, we're going to learn how to identify if it's overactive, if it's underactive, different foods, different colors, different music, different yoga poses, different things you can do for each and every chakra. So we're going to break them down individually and then show you how they balance each other out and how to work with them as a full system and a separate system. So it really is an in-depth class, but it does start at the very basics. So if you have no idea what a chakra is, I will meet you there and teach you that, and I will take you all the way up to as much mastery as I have with the chakra system. So those are my April workshops that are coming up right now. I'm also in the process of forming a goddess circle. So it would be open to women on the new moon, and we will do it via Zoom. There'll be no charge for that, of course. But if you want in on that, send me a DM so that I can get you on that Zoom call list. And that's all I've got right now.